time to strap in and get ready. The leaders in NRL Supercoach are incoming. Bringing you the ultimate insight to help you win your leagues and climb up the rankings. You're now listening to the Insight NRL Show with your hosts, Brain, Mattrix, and Whisperer.
G'day everybody, welcome back. You're watching another Insight NRL show. We're back for the NRL Fantasy team previews, and second up on the list is our SC Mattrix over here. Matty, we asked you what you were thinking about your team. Now we get to see it. What's the big surprise that we're going to come into here? Is there one player that you've just gone real rogue with that is going to shock us all?
Yeah, there is. There's not one, but many. I'm always a surprise packet. So I think Josh saw your team. He's like, oh, man, we've only got 3 players different. Then he went down my list. And he's like, oh, we only have 17 players difference between you and me. Mattrix. So, I'm a very data-driven guy. So I'm excited to step ahead. I
don't reckon you knew what footy statistics was until half an hour ago.
No. I've been using www.footyvibes.com, and I tell you what, all these players are through.
Do you just watch those 2011 like Here Comes the Boom highlight montages for your team?
Yeah, except they use AI to put Ryan Pappenhausen's face on all the WWE characters.
Steve Maddie first picked every single year. Where's Steve Maddie in this game?
Steve Maddie, lock him in for your centers.
Yeah, that's it. All right, Matty, let's get your team up on the screen, mate, and you can take us through what you've got. Kick us off.
So my team name, after the great Sean Keppie last year, he was a revelation for about 1 minute, and the Cappuccino is the name of my team. We're starting off a bit primo hooker. When I talk about Supercoach, I really hate making trades at front row forward. In this, I hate making trades really at hooker. So I've got a really good hooker on the bench, I think, in Aaron Clark. You went and did a deep dive on his stats at lock. Gets that really nice hooker duel here. So I'm going to be playing Jeremy Marshall-King as well. I'm not going to have to worry about origin for these blokes. So we've got Jeremy Marshall-King coming in here. Let me work out these tabs. Jeremy Marshall-King had, I really need to zoom that in. Jeremy Marshall-King had like a bit of an interesting year last year, broken down a little bit of the year, ended quite badly. But when you have a look, he is priced at a 42, and most games he was scoring over a 42 until that injury-plagued run home, where he sort of started playing, a lot less minutes as well. Again, pricing wise, I just think he's underpriced, and he's a guy that I could leave there for a lot of the year. And if I do have a little bit of an issue there, I've got that backup in Aaron Clark basically all year. There's a whole lot of green, and honestly, he's above 42. He had 3 games priced under what he scored at last year, and for me, that's value. What do you think about JMK? Braino first.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm a big fan of JMK in both platforms, Supercoach and Fantasy. I owned him at different points last year. I think I owned him for a nice little run that he had. I think he had a nice little run between like round 5 and 9. I think I got him really early, and then he had a nice little run there throughout that origin period before he got injured. So nearly a 50 average when he played more than 70 minutes is a bit of a no-brainer if he stays fit. And obviously with Christian Wolf as the coach and not Wayne Bennett, we know Wayne Bennett suppresses his hookers a little bit in his coaching style. He likes his hookers to just get the ball to the first receiver off the deck. Maybe we'll see a little bit more running, a little bit more creative flair from JMK this year as well. Josh, what do you reckon?
Yeah, the big concern is some training reports that came out today at time of recording by SC Whisper. Make sure you go check him out. That had Tom Gilbert playing through the middle, which obviously would probably suggest Max Plath comes off the bench. So just the only concern would be JMK's injury history, and if Christian Wolf decides to run Plath through hooker. But if he's playing somewhat close to 80, then JMK could be an absolute stud of a pick.
For sure. Who's next? What do we got in the mids?
I've got Terrell May, a no-brainer, but probably the spicy thing is I've got the captain on him. Again, on the previous pod, you brought up some really good stats about him playing 60 minutes. Again, if they choose to unleash him and play him, I think they'll play him above 58 minutes. They're going to need to. They've paid him to be the man there. Yeah, look, I'm okay with going straight C. Obviously, there's no looping or anything in this. I'm happy to just go the captain straight up. Terrell May. I love captaining mids. It always seems to be, safe in fantasy.
And while you say there's no loopholes, there's no VC loop because your captains, your VC and your C pretty much get locked straight away. Yeah. You can't move your VC and your C, but you can move everyone else on your field. But in saying that, there is bench looping, Josh, and you're probably more keen to talk about this than us. And it is a bit complicated, so we'll try and keep it as simple as possible. But
yikes! Yeah, so you can run enough at your emergency 4, and then picking up your interchange 4, and then picking up your emergency 5 score. So the play is always to emergency 5, guys playing early in the week, and then looking at potential loops like that. But there are people much more smarter than me out there that can teach you how to position loop, because you can definitely loop on field, just not without your captaincy and VCing. I have to message some of my fantasy friends every week to tell me how to set up my team. But yeah, Bray makes a good point. We didn't touch on that in your episode, mate. But yeah, captaincy locks out. When the ball's kicked on Thursday night, VC and Cs are very much locked and loaded, ready to go. So your VC is ultra important in fantasy.
Yeah, in case your captain gets caught out, out at the last end of the game or last game of the round, your captain doesn't play, you're getting your VC points. So you got to make sure you get that right. I got caught out last year. I had my VC. I can't remember who I had my VC on, but it was a pretty poor pick. It was just an automatic pick from maybe the start of the season. And unfortunately ended up with a pretty shit score that week with my captain also scoring 0. So good shout. Who else you got?
Mate, I've got Stefano. And look, he started off the year really well last year. We can see a lot of green. We can see a lot of big minutes. And then he sort of decided to check out for the Tigers, like a lot of players do when you're playing for bottom feeders. But I would like...
Explains the Broncos season then.
Yeah, almost. Sorry, I can't hear you from all the way up here at 10th. But realistically, he checked out towards the end of the year, and I think that's reflective in his pricing. I think Bellamy wouldn't have bought him in unless he had confidence that he could get the best out of Stefano. We hear reports that blokes like Christian Welch and blokes like that have been, said that they could leave. So I expect that you get a young Origin prop. You're going to play him. I expect him to get that upside. And I think 600K is like, he didn't reach under 600K until round 21 last year. So yeah, I think that he touched 730K at some stages last year. Look, he's just a guy that I think has upside, and I want him in my team at that price. Stefano, guys?
Look, I mean, obviously he's going to get more opportunity at the Storm. I think he's going to a better team. He's going to be naturally, I think he'd be the guy over there. I mean, I haven't looked at the stats. I don't think I need to. For him, I think he's a solid pick. Round 2 bye isn't as detrimental, I guess we could say, in fantasy platforms, because you might need that DNP in round 2 so that you can do your bench loop or your emergency loop and things like that. So yeah, I like it.
And I probably had a little bit more confidence getting Stefano in, having Aaron Clark in there with that hooker mid. I feel like I'm going to use that a fair bit throughout the year. I'm pretty set on Aaron, but just slotting him in at hooker if needed and slotting me in the middle. So
yeah, I like it. And you got one of Josh's boys here, I think.
Yeah, I got James Fisher-Harris. And look, we did our front row forwards for Patreon last night, and I was allocated James Fisher-Harris. So naturally, being the stats freak that I am, I just love to delve through the vibes and see what I can find out. Footystatistics.com, which Josh might have mentioned I learnt about half an hour ago, you can filter by over 50 minutes. And he is priced at a 43. And if you go over 50 minutes, every game that he played over 50 minutes in 2024, he scored extremely well. There's actually not underpriced at all in any of those games. With Tohu going, with AFB going, with James Fisher-Harris, I actually think that he's going to be the captain of the New Zealand Warriors. And yeah, I just think that James Fisher-Harris will play over that 50 minutes most nights, and stats don't lie. He is priced well above that. Josh, what about JFH?
Yeah, obviously big fan. I like him from a Supercoach standpoint because I think the minutes will increase, and as we can see there on your screen, that over 50. I think over 50 minutes is very realistic. I think I said 52 to 53 minutes potentially for our pods episode. Go check that out if you haven't watched it already. And yeah, I definitely could be definitely underpriced. People say that he hasn't done it for the Panthers because he didn't need to. Like he's always had guys. Even remember when Kickout was playing, they had Scott Sorensen to come to the middle, and Scott Sorensen's not a bad guy to have to the middle. A couple of years ago, and now he goes to the Warriors where they really only have Dylan Walker as sort of a experienced. I mean, maybe Tom Ale or Bunty Afoa, you can chuck him in there, but a lot of the guys like Dimitri are quite young, and Fisher-Harris is going to have to lead them through there, which is why Brain's keen on Barnett, and I'm keen on both Barnett and JFH.
Spot on.
Absolutely. The next one I've got is Fiame Fuiaki. And we're seeing a whole lot of green up on the screen here. Of course, it is minute dependent. So I'm hopefully through the trials we work out whether he's going to come off the bench or whether he's going to start. I think he's going to start, and if he does start, I just think he's a bit of a value pick at 400k, priced at a 29. Look, a lot of this is dependent on the trials, dropped off towards the end of last year. But again, 1 foot out the door. Just, I think Fiame Fuiaki will be good again this year. Brano?
Yeah, he was initially in my first iteration of my Supercoach team, and then I've kind of played with him in and out, and I don't know whether he's... I think he's not in my team at the moment, but I do like the pick. I think initially maybe I liked it a little bit more, and then I looked at it a little bit more, and I thought, maybe not. There's questions about whether... I think, Josh, you said that at Dolphins training he was sharing some edge minutes from someone. Is that right?
Yeah, so it was Kafusi on the left and then rotated to the middle, and then Lemuelu and Fiame Fuiaki sort of rotated between right and left. And it doesn't seem like there's a great level of knowledge from Christian Wolf about where he wants to head for this side to head. But we've still got another 6-7 weeks before the season starts. So if Fiame Fuiaki can get some clarity on his minutes, we've seen him underpriced in Supercoach for his output, over 50, 60 minutes. So the fantasy crowd are flocking to him as well, like the fantasy regulars. So where there's smoke, there's fire. So Mattrix could be on something there.
For sure.
Look, I don't want to delve too much into our main, I suppose, hookers or halfbacks here. You've got very similar there, Brano. But Luke Metcalf, I think he will do a lot of kicking in play, which will get him a little bit of a bump there. Nathan Cleary, probably the only surprising thing there is that I haven't captained him. Those games were really funny in Vegas last year. I don't have the stats. I just felt like it was so hyped up and there wasn't a lot of scoring. It wasn't as free-flowing as I maybe would have liked. So, yeah, I'm probably just going to stay away from captaining Cleary, probably in both codes, week 1. So Terrell May gets the armband there. I've played Dylan Lucas. I've found centers when it comes to fantasy are basically like hookers, really. They are shit. I struggled all last year with my centers. I only had success when I had wingers, fullbacks that I got into centers. So I thought, hey, let's get a second rower in my centers, and that's Dylan Lucas. He didn't score that well at center last year, but played really well in second row. I expect him to be hopefully an 80-minute edge back rower this year. Dylan Lucas for fantasy this year. Again, I've got him in Supercoach as well. Yeah, great for fantasy. Can you guys get around Dylan Lucas? Brano first.
Toot. Absolutely. Yeah, we talked about his base power, which is pretty much one of the most relevant stats when we're talking about fantasy. If you can pick a guy that has that natural base and that work rate like Dylan Lucas does, and you can pick him at center. That's why he's so popular in Supercoach platform as well. But also, that's why he's going to be popular here. I think he's a really good pick. I like it.
Billy Smith is my next one. I really like Billy Smith if he gets that center spot. Scores really well, 32 is what he's priced at. If we bring it up on the screen, there's a whole lot of green, but we do have to go all the way back to 2023. Look, the Roosters have just always been high on Billy Smith. It seems that they buy in all these really good centers, all these really good wingers, but every time Billy Smith's available, opportunity comes knocking. Look, I'm surprised that he's in the picture, but if he does start at center come round one for the Roosters, I will be having Billy Smith. Even at 450k, which seems to be underpriced, probably due to the fact that he didn't play a game in 2024. Josh, what do you think about Billy Smith?
Yeah, wheels up if he starts. Count on him in Supercoach. I think some talk for the Roosters is they're not concerned, but they want to see more defensive prowess from Nwanga Tuwaze. So it seems like that's probably why Billy's favourite at the moment. But yeah, still so far out. Whether they see Nwanga Tuwaze as a winger or a centre will, I guess, be the calling for Billy Smith. But you hit the nail on the head there, mate. Like whenever he's fit, he seems to be in the picture for Robbo. He's always spoken very highly of Billy Smith. So yeah, I guess the ball's in his court, and if he wants to take it for probably the first time in his career, hopefully he can stay injury free, because glimpses that we've seen, he's been very, very fantasy friendly. Good tackle bust, good kick meters, similar to a Jack Howarth in that sense. So yeah, big Billy Smith fan, and hopefully he can stay fit on the park.
My next one is our boy Kiraz. Again, in Supercoach, we talk about base power. Brano, you just mentioned that it is something that we look at. It's basically fantasy scoring. At centre, I don't like him as much. At winger, we're just going to have to see where he lines up. But Kiraz has always been a base stat. And I think also at that price, putting him in my team day one, I can basically pivot to a lot of people. I can jump back up to a Latrell. I can go across to a Ruben Garrick if I start to see some alarm bells for Kiraz. But realistically, I just wanted to spend about 640k, and Kiraz fit the bill. Get around Kiraz, Brando?
Oh, I'd love him on the wing. At centre, he's still as good. When we filter at centre last year, he averaged 45.4 with 2 tries. And then if we look at him on the wing, he averaged 51.2 with 4, 6, 8, 9 tries. So obviously he's definitely preferred on the wing there. His base is better. His run meters are insane. 205 run meters at winger, and then at centre averages 170. So he still gets his meters, regardless of which position he's in. I think it's just the try scoring upside there, and that's where I'd prefer him. But regardless, I think he's a good pick.
For me, it's that 205 run meters. It's the 4.2 tackle breaks. It's the, just ridiculous workload he gets through. Even 2.2 offloads and 1.9 of those to hand coming off the wing as well. And as we said in Brain's episode, offloads are worth an absolute gold mine. They're worth more than what Bitcoin is in 2025. Like they're worth a lot. If a winger's getting two offloads to hand combined with, 6 tackle busts and 200 plus run meters, then absolute stud. Price at 46, averaging 51 on the wing last year. It's a very, very tasty proposal.
For sure.
Yep, and Dylan Edwards I'm picking. I wanted a primo, and I actually started with Latrell, and then as I was tinkering around, I think it was maybe to get a Dylan Lucas or somebody like that up from a 550k guy. I just went down to 730k for Dylan Edwards. Whereas he won't be getting you too many offloads. He does get 6.5 tackle breaks a game in the elite Penrith team. I do wonder if once Luai's going, well, now that Luai's gone, Dylan Edwards is going to have to get a little bit more involved in the creativity. I do just like Dylan Edwards, and he's somebody that I'll look at, honestly, for both codes. And, when we're looking at Dream Team and when it comes time for Bundy Mixer as well, I think Dylan Edwards is another guy that I'll be looking at for all of them.
Do you think he gets his hands on the ball a little bit more with, Blaise Talangi learning his trade there at 5'8"? Do you think that maybe Cleary's going to lean to more Dylan Edwards involved in the attack, Josh?
Yeah, I think so. I think Blaise Talangi's played, all 3 games at 5'8" in first grade. Obviously, very, very talented player, no doubt. But I think they'll rely heavily on Yo. Cough, cough, hint for the next episode. They'll also rely heavily on Dylan Edwards as well. So, I think he's in his hands on that pill way more. And, if Cleary ever goes down, which, history has shown that he probably won't play a full season, Dylan Edwards takes that goal kicking and has been quite good for it as well.
For sure.
My last starter, Jahream Buller. We do expect the Tigers
Oh,
to get better
yes.
after I've thrown so much slander. All at,
Hang on.
Tigers.
Confirm the Buller's better than Reece Walsh. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Buller's
I did
better
not
than-
see that coming at all.
Yeah, I saved it for you guys.
Cool. Thank you.
I just wanted it to be a special treat. But honestly, if you look at Jahream Buller down the back end of the year, he exceeded that 38 all the way through. I do think the team is getting better. I do think he will get more quality ball, and I just like Jahream Buller. Adding some of these primos, so I suppose paying up. Or what have I got? Over 1.8 million through the middle, 2.2 million if you count Aaron Clark as a middle there. I do have to make some sacrifices at wing fullback. I'm probably not as high on Skelton as you guys, so let's just see what Buller can do. And look, you've got to have some point of differences in your team, otherwise they'll all look the same. So look, enter Jahream Buller for the vibes, guys.
Ultimate vibes pick.
Yeah, mega. Off the charts.
Yeah, you can't get that on footystatistics.com, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's a great website. But they need to update their vibes index.
Yeah. I'm not going to deep dive into my bench too much, except the fact that I didn't mind Will Price. We did have a little bit of a chat about depth wise and why maybe we need to make sure that we have a halfback. I'm actually pretty high on Lachlan Ilias. When it comes to fantasy, when it comes to kick meters, we all know Kyle Flanagan isn't the flashiest kicker, maybe not even the best player out there. But look, it could be Lachlan Ilias this year when it comes to fantasy. Could make 100K to my NBL Supercoach fans, but I've dealt the hand that I've been given, and I've added Will Price, priced at a 25. Look. In 80-minute games, which I know is a small sample size, 45, 49, and 50, priced at a 25. If he's named to start, backups for the wing fullback and the halves there when it comes to Will Price. He's somebody I can get around. I'm going to have Sandon Smith. I'm going to have Robert Toya if he's named, Jackson Perdue, Tom Amone, and Thomas Duffy. So, again, just going to keep an eye on Team List Tuesday come week 1. Guys, I think that's my team.
What do you reckon, Josh? Out of 10?
On what index? Because if it's
Vibes
pure,
index.
11.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Like,
If we had to captain a side, pure based off vibes, I'd be captaining Mattrix aside all day long.
Yeah, 100%. I like you got a few points of difference there as well.
There's more Tigers in my team than both of yours because I will not add a Bronco,
Probably
so then they can only let me down once.
Probably combined.
Very good, guys. That is Mattrix's team. We've got Josh's team coming up next, obviously. So we've left a fair few talking points for him as well. So you'll be able to find a bit more about a lot of these younger guys and the New South Wales Cup stuff. So we'll keep that for Josh. But guys, thanks for watching. Hit subscribe and like. If you like the content, we'd appreciate that. We'll see you for the next episode. We'll catch you then.
Cheerio.